Hi there. So today we're going to grow our very first garlic on this farm, that is, at least. So before, I had a little plant that I planted out and I tried to grow some garlic, but it turned out that the plant didn't like what I was doing to it. So it kind of whittled and died, right? So I'm hoping that today's process will allow us to have a more successful harvest going forward. So the first thing I did is to clear out these beds here, just to make sure that I'm ready to, start planting. Now, because there was a lot of rains in the previous weeks, and also there were just other plants growing here, the soil is a bit compacted, it's very hard. So I actually have to bring a bit of air into this. And that I will use this fork, right? So I'm just going to be tilling a bit of the soil here to bring a lot of aeration onto the beds. Okay, so this bed is now done with this part. We have 3 beds that we have to work on, so I'll actually get started with those. But what we've also decided to do here is just leave the flowers. I mean, they just look so beautiful. So these zinnias, we have nasturtiums. We also have, a few eggplants behind us, and those are going to stay. We don't really see them, affecting the crops that we're planting now in any way. And the other really good thing is that what we notice is that having nasturtiums and zinnias and other flowers like marigolds has really helped the production of our crops. So they experience a lot less pests when these flowers are on here. So these are definitely staying. So let me work on the other 2 beds. This is a garlic head, and this is just coming straight from a store. Nothing fancy about it. Go into a store, you buy a whole head of garlic. Might be a bit pricey, but it'll work, right? And then you just take it home. And then what we have to do now is break it up into parts, which are called cloves. And then for some reason, it's a bit difficult to do that. And then once you break it up, you just remove the top part or the cover, just a little bit of the cover that looks a bit like plastic. And then that's it, right? This is what we are going to be planting. Now, when we plant, we want this tip to face the top, right? And this is really what we want to plant. And so really, like, that's really it. Like, garlic theoretically should be very simple, and I love garlic because it is the main ingredient of garlic bread, and I love garlic bread. So let's get to it. So this is really it. The garlic cloves have been separated. Again, no need for us to force ourselves to remove this protective plastic part here, because that could just damage the garlic, right? All we had to do was just remove the main outer cover of the whole head as a whole. So we're now ready to actually get to planting. And the spaces have to be 15 centimeters from each other. So that's half a ruler. I should probably have just brought a ruler, but you know, sometimes I kind of forget those things. So let's just get to making those holes. Okay, so now this is done. We've dug the holes, and then the cloves are now in. So we're really ready to move to the next stage. What's really important to understand though is that we are beginners and we don't really know what we're doing. So a lot of these things that we're doing here is straight from research. This is where we got that 15 centimeter spacing, but we actually gave it a bit of an increase to make sure that, maybe they might need more space so that they can grow, and hopefully we can get much bigger bulbs. When it comes to the depth though, this one we honestly just, we tried our luck. We just, different depths and all. We'll see whether it grows, whether it doesn't. I don't know. We'll just see how it all plays out. Now, if you look at the bed though, you will realize that there's a lot of space in between here, right? And this is because we also found from research that, garlic and carrots are really good companions. So they really work well together. So we're deciding now we're going to grow a whole row of carrots in here in between. So this is why that spacing is there. So let's get to it. Okay, so yeah, we're done. The last thing we have to do now is mulch just before we actually water. And we're going to use the old school way, which is the best way because it's free. This is grass that we just cut on our farm and we just let it dry out there, and then we've just collected it. So this is what we have, and this is what we're going to use. We just have to spread it across the bed and just make a really nice layer. And then we'll water, and then we'll be done. At this point, Babyface, one of our chicken gangsters, decided to break into our market garden, so I had to chase him out. Anyway, where was I? That the chickens have finally found a way to come into our market garden, which means they now are getting smarter and smarter. Oh no, they're going to cause problems if they end up coming here. Oh my gosh. And it was Babyface. He's always the snoopiest of them all. Babyface has to go first. Okay, so last but definitely not least is watering. Like, we finally made it here. We're very excited about it. So all we just make sure we do is just drench the bed. We make sure that it's moist, it is covered well. And the nice thing is that because we put this mulch on top, it's also going to retain a lot of the moisture. It's going to also suffocate the weeds here. And we've just noticed that putting mulch on top of the beds has really made a very big improvement when we have done it. It also helps with the soil in the long term. So I'm just going to cover it really nicely. And that's it. So there we have it. We actually finally grew garlic for the very first time. We're very excited about it. But on top of garlic, we also have carrots over there, and then we have onions on this particular bed. And the reason why we chose these is not only do we eat a lot of them, but because they're in the ground, we think that they'll just be a little bit more resilient to the pests, because some of the beds that we've had have just had a bunch of pests before. So we're hoping that this will just be a lot more easy to manage for us in the long term. So that's it. Thank you so much for watching. We hope you like, share, subscribe. In the comment section, tell us how it has been for you to grow all of these. Has it been relatively easy? Were pests also a problem? Because we're really hoping that we don't have to experience that this time. But see you again next time.